Oh, look at this, Beaton. Escaped the carnage. A battle of survival here in this first moto, and he has come out on top.
Hello and welcome to Adelaide in sunny South Australia for round 3 of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores as our travelling motocross circus descends on the sandy loam of Gillman, a track brimming with memories of so many of our current and former riders and one that always delivers first-class racing. Hi, I'm Kate Keck and with me is 11-time national motocross champion Lee Hogan. Hogs, before we get into the racing, some massive news was announced on Friday. The FIM MXGP is coming back to Australia and it's heading to Darwin.
Yeah, this is so exciting, not just for our sport, our industry, but also up in the Northern Territory, the tourism. It has so many good positives. It's very cool.
Now, in MX1, Horsham, Jed Beaton and Nathan Crawford shared the spoils, taking a win apiece. However, Jed Beaton did take home the round win.
Yes, absolutely. It was both of their time to shine, but it was Jed Beaton that came out on top. And hasn't he been in really good form since the start of the season? He came out at Wonthaggi and he looked like he potentially could get the win. A little bit of a tip over cost him any hope of that. But round 2 at Horsham is where it all came together. Thing is with him, he just looks like he's doing it really quite easy at the moment. Very dangerous for his competitors. Now let's focus on Nathan Crawford, because after many, many years on the lights bike, the 250cc class, he's come out this year and he looks so at home on the 450. So to go 2-1 against Jed Beaton, get a moto win under his belt so early this year, it's looking ominous, that's for sure.
Now they will both need to keep an eye on the consistent Kyle Webster, who is sitting P2 in the championship points. He obliterated the field here last year at Gillman. Can he take back that red plate this weekend?
Well, I think he can. We know he rides this stuff exceptionally well. Wonthaggi went 1-1. You can't do much better than that. It wasn't his day at round 2, though. However, he loves this dirt here that we're seeing it today at Gillman, so we'll have to watch this play out and see how it goes.
Now, in some pretty unfortunate news for Honda, we will not see Wilson Todd here this weekend due to a pretty gruesome injury.
Oh yeah, this is so sad for the Honda crew, and of course Wilson. Anyone that follows him on Instagram would see he's had a rather large crash, but he got his leg stuck underneath the motorcycle, and it's done in effect kind of like a burn. He's had to have skin grafts, all kinds of stuff, so our thoughts go out to Wilson.
Thanks for joining me. Let's head down to expert commentator Danny Ham, who is on the start gate.
Well, one of the most exciting 2023 rounds was Gillman last year in the 450 class, and Jed Beaton was certainly amongst the action there. Again, today, landing the first blows, quickest out in qualifying. Jed, how are you feeling on track today?
Yeah, I feel quite good. It's a lot different than last year. Like you're saying, we're in the mix, but it was pouring down rain. So, yeah, first moto was good last year, but then unfortunately the rain come. The weather's a lot better today. So, yeah, I think it'll make for some good racing.
From our point of view, the track looks like it's pretty tricky this year. You said the track is different. Obviously, it was pretty wet last year with the rains and everything you had. What's the differences here this year, and what's going to take to be up on the top step at the end?
I mean, it's a little bit... it's ripped a little bit deeper this year, but it seems to be just forming up into like the one-line berm. So it's a little bit hard pack underneath. So it's just being consistent and riding the laps the whole race and try not to make any mistakes. It's quite easy to make that little mistake out there. So yeah, keep on top of that and try and get the job done.
Well, this guy here, absolutely fast. Red plate holder, currently the guy everyone's chasing.
Nathan Crawford on the KTM, your first full season on the 450, taking your first MX1 win at Horsham, round 2. Did that win come quicker for you than you had expected?
Yeah, definitely a little bit. I mean, you know, I always believe in my capabilities and my speed and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't expect it so soon. But obviously the opportunity was there for me, and when those things come up, I like to grab them with both hands. So yeah, but you know, reset straight away and focus on you know, every race at a time, and can't get too caught up on the wins. I mean, they feel good, but you got to refocus straight away.
Okay, we are going to head out for the Michelin track preview with your expert commentators, Danny Ham and Lee Hogan.
Welcome to this week's Michelin track preview. We start here out of the start gate into the first turn. And what we've got here is one of the very rare opportunities for a dirt style starting grid throughout this series. We normally have the ultra grippy metal mesh starting grates. Now, if you have a bit of a close look at the dirt texture here, it will become that hard pack and you'll almost start to see blue groove marks from the tires left on this starting gate here. And the riders have to get as much traction as they can before they launch out onto some super grippy dirt, and that's where the dramas begin. So we're only a handful of meters out the front of the starting gate, and we are presented with some of the nicest dirt that you are ever gonna find. Beautiful chocolate cake, and it's almost bottomless. Now this throws a bit of a curveball to the riders and the teams when it comes to tire selection. Do they choose the very popular scoop or paddle tire that just throws this dirt backwards and throws the bike forwards in a very big hurry? Or do they go for something a little bit more hard pack, something that's going to get them off the starting line and not let those elbows come out and box you in and throw you out the back of the pack? That's a decision that they have to make. So we're going to have to watch this play out. Tire choice is going to be critical.
If you don't get yourself a good start on the opening laps here, you're going to be buried back in the pack. This particular dirt loses your vision very quickly. Position on track off the start, extremely important. Now this corner itself is a little bit of an off-camber turn. Now on a hard pack track, that would be very difficult to get around. However, with this soil, you'll develop a lot of ruts through the turn and they'll continue to push wider and wider. And that's another thing these riders have to think about is they need to keep an open mind. This is an ever-evolving track. These ruts will change, they will develop every single lap on the track. Now, if they're not paying attention, if they don't have their A game on, they're going to miss the good lines, and it's really important that they get them dialed in if they have any chance this weekend of getting a top 3 position.
We're standing here on the exit of turn 6. Now, approximately the halfway point of a lap. Now, entering into turn 6, we've got what's traditionally known as a gator back section. It's the very last opportunity that these riders are going to have to make a pass before they head up into the elevated part of the Gillman circuit here. Now, how they tackle this gator back section, whether they decide to try to skim across the top, it's going to be a long shot with how far apart they are from each other, or whether they try to rhythm. However, the last one is the biggest. So if you elect to single off that last one, you're going to lose a bit of time and open yourself up for a passing opportunity here. Once the riders come down from the elevated section, there's only a handful of corners before that checkered flag. Well, that's this week's Michelin track preview for round 3 at Gillman.
All right, well, great to have a look at the track up close and personal. Let's take a look at the Thor MX1 lineup, Moto1. Jed Beaton, our fastest qualifier, Kyle Webster, Nathan Crawford, Kirk Gibbs, and Luke Clout.
Yeah, Ferris, Metcalf, Waters, Jackson, Evans, all the top headers as our board is up. We are about to get the first of Moto number 1, MX1, Thor MX1 underway. Who gets out to a good start? Oh, Kyle Webster, and Beaton is back.
Is almost mid-pack. He come out not too bad at the first turn. Ferris, how was that? Great start from Ferris and beautiful through turn 2.
So Ferris sits there in third. I think it was Gibbs in second. And Beaton was managed to get himself to 5th. There is Waters back there quite a long way. There is Beaton just coming on the screen, the red plates. So Ferris, we spoke about this prior to this race, Lee. Does Ferris come out? Is he changed? Has he got some new settings? Does he come out with a new mindset? And certainly already today, it looks like Ferris is a different rider. Oh, Beaton around the outside.
Well, look, I think the only person that can go with Kyle Webster's racetrack pace at the moment is Jed Beaton. Now, he has to make some passes exceptionally quick. We've already seen him do that. So just like that, what's he slotted up into 4th place already, I believe? The drama for him, though, Kirk Gibbs has been exceptionally fast lately.
Bryce Ochnanis is there right in front of Clout. We're actually just battling it out with Clout. Clout's now around him. He got himself to a great start. A second ago, he sat there next to Jed Beaton as well. Crawford is just there at the back of that shot. As we go back to our lead, it's through the blue crew right. Yamaha right-hand turn. And it looks like a little bit of work has been done on this track, Lee, since we said, oh, Beaton
tipping it into that outside berm. A little bit of a mistake, but he's already onto the back of Gibbs, and it looked like whether it's a mistake from Dean Ferris or whether it's the raw pace from Kyle Webster, looks like Kyle's got a tiny bit of a buffer at the head of the pack.
So some riders will learn this track quicker than the others. Of course, they've been out through practice qualifying. Oh, that was close. Through practice qualifying, and they know the track from back then, but it's certainly changed a lot. The lines have changed a lot since they rode that. So a lot of dust around the outside. That's a new line. So that's not the first time we've seen that. We've seen a few of our smaller classes doing exactly the same thing. There must be something that kicks them out there. So lap 1 complete. It is Webster, Ferris, Gibbs, Beaton, Clout, Crawford, Waters, Metcalf, your top 8 through.
Now, it looks to me like Dean Ferris has consolidated that gap back to Kurt Gibbs in 3rd place. So it looked to me like it was a little bit of a mistake that dropped him off the back of Kyle Webster. Our WP hole shot going to Kyle Webster, and what I have lost count how many hole shots he's got.
Perfect way to start his races here today with that hole shot. You can see the number 8 of Zachary Watson going around the outside there. Also, the 23 is in shot of Levi Rogers. So a couple of bigger names as well in the some privateers there that certainly show their face up the top 10s quite often, especially around a circuit like this. You get a good chance to see exactly how rough this track is. And I think as with Jed saying that it seems one line, there's a lot of lines on track, but it seems like there's only 1 or 2 good lines out there that seem to be working.
Now, our leaderboard on the side of our screen is telling us Jed Beaton has made that pass on Kurt Gibbs and already dropped him back 1.7 seconds. So it looks like he's on a bit of a charge. Ferris still within range of Webster and only 1.9 seconds behind. So these next coming laps, Danny, can you explain to our viewers at home, try to get into the mindset of our 2 main big hitters here, Kyle Webster at the head of the pack and Jed Beaton. I know we've got Ferris in 2nd place, but the points chase, it's between these 2. 5 points separates Jed Beaton back to Kyle Webster. What does Kyle Webster have to do here?
Well, you would expect that Kyle Webster is, like we say many times, trying to run and hide, build up a bit of a gap, and try and demoralise the momentum, the confidence of the other riders just a little bit. However, looking at the lap times that just got presented to us, Lee Hogan, a 2:03.2 for Kyle Webster, 2:03.3 for Jed Beaton. Fastest on track by a clear half a second was our 2nd place rider in Dean Ferris. Now, we think that Dean looks a bit better this weekend. From what we've seen so far, we discussed it, and it certainly looks like he has come to party with these boys here today, and that gap is still down to 1.8 seconds. If he can close down on the race leader and potentially put on a battle, you can see it at the top of the screen there.
Have a look at the charge, Dean Ferris. Yeah. He's riding well. Now, let's have a look closely. I want to see if he was riding like he was in the pole shootout. It was exceptionally loose. He looked like he was doing it hard. I don't think he could be staying this close to Kyle Webster and not have smoothed that out ever so slightly. I wonder if Dakker's perhaps got into his ear a little bit. A little bit of a push of the front end there, tipping it into the corner. But already things looking a little smoother for Dean Ferris than it did in the pole shootout.
Look, maybe they've gone back, they've made some suspension changes, a couple of tweaks here and there can make all the difference with a rider's confidence and how they feel on the bike. Certainly he looks pretty good right now, so don't count him out just yet. But there is no doubt that Webster is still finding form with a 2.1 second lead, and then it's still 2.6 seconds back to beat. I feel that these riders at the moment are just starting to feel out the track, learn where these lines are taking them, what's going to work the best, but really they cannot allow Webster to pull that big lead, otherwise it's going to be too hard to close down.
Not on a track like this. You can't afford Kyle Webster to have this kind of a gap and to let him get comfortable where he doesn't feel some kind of pressure from behind. And there we go, Danny Ham just brought it to my attention at 2:01.5. Wow is all I can say. Kyle Webster is on a flyer.
Beaton has dropped into the 2:01s as well with a 2:01.9, so he is quicker that lap around. 0.02 with 6 minutes into this race gone. Still 18.5 minutes to go, so an eternity when you look at the big picture as we go back a little bit further to Kirk Gibbs in front of Luke Clout. and then Nathan Crawford back behind them. So we expect big things out of Crawford this weekend after such a fine performance at the last round. And I believe last year he was pretty strong in the MX2 class with Wilson Todd.
Yeah, he was. Now, Danny, let's not forget, Crawford had a shocker of a start in this race. So we have a look. He just got himself a 2:03.7, sorry. So quite a bit faster than the two riders in front of him. I think it's only a matter of time before he starts to try to climb his way back past Luke Clout, and there Kurt Gibbs ahead of him.
So interestingly, Lee, I've done some analysis going into this race, and the Gillman round is pretty significant over the championship chase over the last couple of years. For the 3 classes that we have over the 2 rounds, so there's 6 in total, 5 of the 6 times the race winner from this round went on to win the championship. So if Webster goes and wins this round, he statistically is in a pretty good position as well.
All right, well, first of all, Danny, tip of the cap for your homework. Great job. Second of all, the main one that comes to my mind is Aaron Tanti here a couple of years ago in what was really a breakthrough ride for him, wasn't it? And when Dakar and the team rallied behind him, and we saw the form that he had, that he carried into, oh, a track marker goes flying there that Luke Clout just collected. But Tanti's the one that stood out, and yes, you're correct, went on to win the championship. So Gillman can be that telltale sign.
The Tanti thing was what made me look back into it. I do remember that quite significantly. It was a big turning point for the championship. We see a good battle here between the number 8 machine of Zachary Watson and Luke Zielinski on the 162. They are back there in 9th and 10th at the moment, having their own little battle. They're a little bit back from the other riders, but still well within striking distance. And look at this. Ferris once again closes back down, and I think this is just going to be the actual turn of the whole day. The riders that make the least mistakes are most likely going to be the one that ends out coming away with a win.
Yeah, well, this really is almost a must-win situation for Dean Ferris, isn't it, really? And you can think these days that he's had to think about the start of the season hasn't been what he'd hoped for, right? Coming into what a lot of people, and probably himself, classifies as his nemesis round, Gillman. The last couple of years, he just fights the bike, and you can see just, it's almost like he's not comfortable here. And this is a mark of a true champion. If he could somehow turn today into a good day, what an incredible job for the number 1.
I think if he can close the day out riding like this, in this position, even if he doesn't get a win right now, if he gets 1, 2, 3, but he is still there fighting it out with these two, then that's the turning point for Ferris, and I feel that he will be major threat through the rest of the championship.
Now, Danny, we've got Dean Ferris on screen at the moment. I want you to watch his bike closely. Can you pick up any changes that you think they might have made in between pole shootout, where we saw that bike just dancing around so much?
Yeah, look, we don't know because we don't know the change they made, but whether it's a bike change or whether it's his style of riding, the way he's approaching it, it certainly looks like he's a little more settled going into these corners coming into it. Kate, what have you got?
Just spoke to the CDA Yamaha Monster Energy crew chief about if he did make any changes between the pole shootout and the race, and he said no changes have been made. He just got a good start, and it's kind of been his first good start for the year. He's just really happy with his engine package and all the work that they've been doing in testing as well.
Well, what a change. They can say there's no changes, and I believe that, but something has changed, and I tell you what it is. It's up in his head and how he's deciding to attack this track, because to me, that doesn't even look like the same rider that we saw in pole shootout.
Potentially, that's the thing, though. Remember where he said that Dean Ferris isn't one of those guys that loves to go out and knock down the fastest lap time. It puts him out of a comfort zone. This part of the race, this is the comfort zone for Dean Ferris. So if he can find that rhythm and that groove, then you'll see a very strong Dean Ferris, I feel.
Luke Clout still back in 5th place. Crawford still in 6th place. None of these are decided yet. Does that look like that's Todd Waters?
He has come from nowhere to catch these guys, and he has set a faster lap time on the last lap than any of them in front of him at a 2:05 compared to a 2:07. So he is flying at the moment.
Well, we know Todd Waters likes this soft stuff. You look up a picture of Coolum in the dictionary, you see a picture of Todd Waters smiling. He just loves this stuff.
And already straight to the inside of Crawford, makes the pass up into 6th place. Fantastic to see Todd Waters getting back up there into the form. And you can see with the way he bounced through there, he is feeling that rhythm right now.
Yeah, very impressive from Todd Waters. Does the charge stop here? Let's have a look at the replay.
Beautiful line set up to the inside. Crawford was already too wide. There was no way he was going to come back from there. But then out of this corner, off this jump, and then bouncing. Watch this, little pop up over the next bump. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic.
That was poetry. He's feeling it. Now, when you can do that on that part of the track, chances are through the rest of the track, he's got some innovative, some creative lines going on.
And it saves a lot of energy rather than beating yourself up the entire time on the track, just slamming into those bumps. If you can find that rhythm like we just saw, it saves so much energy and you can ride so much further into the moto.
So that gap, 3 seconds now. We can just see Kyle Webster idling his way out of that first turn. He's up the ante a little bit. It's come down to now saying 2.6 seconds, but things staying relatively similar. A bit of a yo-yo effect as we see a little bit of a kick up there and a little bit of a mistake there from Dean Ferris. Welcome back to Gillman. Of course, round 3 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships brought to you by AMX Superstores. We are almost 2/3 of the way through MX1 Moto1 brought to you by Thor. Kyle Webster continues to lead Danny Ham, but 1.6 seconds is the gap.
So just moments ago, we had a pass attempt on the inside of Clout, but Clout watched to the outside, the number 4. Little mistake there. And that's allowed 2 of the riders to go back through with Waters, the lead rider of them. But, however, we just saw then that Nathan Crawford has got himself back around Waters and puts himself there into 5th place. Can Ferris turn the tables on his championship right here, bring himself back into the championship? And just as we say that, it looks like Beaton has realised it's time to flick the switch right now as well. And we are facing a 3-rider battle right now.
Oh.
So how will Ferris handle the pressure as Beaton looks to the inside here? Ferris closes the door. Beaton has nowhere to go.
Yeah, Jed Beaton just looks like he's just pointing to a bit on the track going, hey, I'm going to go there. He can choose where he wants to go. He seems to be able to find nice parts of the track that no one else seems to be able to find at the moment. Can he set something up here? This is an integral part of the track as they make the right-hander low line off here and high speed into the double. Pass is made.
Well, you'd have to feel that that's been a couple of laps in the making right there. Oh, Ferris, he's got problems with his goggles. He can't see either. That was holding the goggles for a very long time. I mean, he may get it sorted out right now, but he has dropped a long way off the back right there. For a rider that was so strong, it's very uncharacteristic. Big in-swinger then too, just as he come off. So on the leaderboard there, it is Webster in front of Beaton, Ferris, 1.8 to 2.8. And Beaton looks like he is the stronger of the riders at the moment.
Yeah, if you just look the little passage of riding that started from the first turn, I think you can see that Jed Beaton is kind of coming into his own in this part of the race. Now, if he doesn't know already, Kyle Webster is going to know almost immediately that this is Jed Beaton right behind him. Now, if Jed Beaton can string together, see how low that line is. He's got some incredible lines here, and he's got his favourite part of the track coming up. I think Kyle Webster needs to go into defensive mode here.
I don't think he could be too defensive though, Lee. Otherwise, it's just going to open up the opportunity for Beaton to find that alternative line and make a pass happen pretty quick. How's the twitch there by that bike, just hitting those ruts in the face of those rollers? Here we go. Here is the pass again. So around the outside for Beaton with a much lower line, just like you said, and then double in. Beautiful. Beautiful setup right there by the number 14 machine.
Well executed pass. I'm wondering when we get back, still all over the back. Now that for me, those 3 corners is Jed Beaton's real strong point as he ducks to the inside here. Now he'll go for the far outside. I think Kyle Webster will stay to the inside as he comes around here. Now let's not forget this low line that he has on the jump. And is it going to be enough to sleep? He's not close enough to be able to do the same thing. But I think that is a potential passing opportunity for Jed Beaton, that outside and off that very low part of the jump.
Across the top of the track, through Dunlop left, are our leaders starting to get into some more lapped riders. Will they play into this? Ooh, Webster grabs himself a handy little buffer right there with 1 minute to go in this moto.
Okay, so that lapped rider there is just not aware of what was going on. So, look, it's unfortunately put a little bit of a gap there. But Kyle Webster, can he hold on? We've got 47 seconds left, plus a lap. A little bit of a kick there. He needs to keep it nice and smooth and hit his marks. One thing that we cannot doubt, Kyle Webster, is his fitness, how hard he trains. There wouldn't be a rider out there on the track that has more fitness than Kyle Webster. He just needs to keep it together for another 29 seconds. So he's got 2 more laps to go.
So keep an eye on this lap time, see if it's dropped down. In fact, it has. Webster has replied, 2:04.7 compared to a 2:05.7 from Beaton there in second. So they have both stepped it up at the latter stages of this race with 2 laps to go. Webster looking very good again. That lap that I thought maybe he looked tight has just been thrown out the window. He has certainly found that pace once again.
Now that line swinging onto the straight there, I didn't get to see what Kyle Webster did, but that was a beautiful line from Jed Beaton. But Kyle still managed to somehow keep that gap the same. Once again, things just start to close up a little bit here. This corner into turn 3 is brutal, and we have got lap riders everywhere.
Yeah, that lap rider I thought might have played into that a little bit again through this one. Will they get in the road? Okay, so is Beaton a little bit closer this time?
He's just made that little bit of a mistake there. Once again, I think his spot of the track's just here around the outside as Jed Beaton tries to slingshot. Once again, he's not close enough.
Oh, the back end stepping out a little bit there for Webster into some more lapped riders. They will greet the last lap board around the next time. Beaton currently just under a second lead over second place, who is going to be held up. So was Webster with that small mistake.
But there's a lapped rider, Emma Milicevic, doing a fantastic job out there on the big 450 in between the 2 riders. So lap riders is really starting to play a role here in this first 450 race.
We know Beaton is strong. Oh, that there would have hurt quite a bit for Beaton as he had to jump out of that rut there to get through the corner cleanly. So let's look ahead. Yes, another lap rider just up there. They will get the last lap board this time. How's that square edge?
Wow, that was a nasty kick there.
That was a very hidden square edge. There's no way Beaton would have known that was there. He can only continue to put the pressure on right now and see if he can close down that gap. But right now, Webster is controlling this one pretty good.
Yeah, that last lap was a good one, and a couple of mistakes from Jed Beaton. He's going to have to get up a little bit closer. If anything, that gap has stretched out a little bit now, and Jed Beaton finds himself not on his favourite part of the track in this tight part of the corner.
Still there, within striking distance if our leader has any kind of issues over this last half a lap. But right now, Webster is looking the goods into the left-hander through Michelin for the last time. Oh, so close to that lap rider. Coming together with our race leader, who our race leader has been held up just momentarily right there.
Yeah, these lapped riders have really made it quite difficult for both riders, haven't they?
Across that double right now. Into this right, Webster a little bit slow getting out of there. That's going to allow Beaton to close in just a little bit more. Didn't quite get over the last of those doubles though for Beaton, so that's going to have slowed him up just a fraction. Half a lap to go through the Dunlop long left. That bike dancing around underneath Kyle Webster, the 96 Honda, who has done it from the very first laps, put himself into this position. He has had some pressure applied and has managed to hold on. But I tell you what, he can't sleep just yet, Lee.
No, that was a little bit of a mistake, and on a dusty part of the track, you know he hasn't been down there throughout this whole race. So just a handful of corners to go, but that gap, it looks like it's a little too late for Jed Beaton.
Through the right-hander here, into the left. Jed Beaton certainly right there, but it is only one turn to go for the Honda rider. 96, Kyle Webster has opened up his day with a race win, Moto #1, and he will greet the checkered flag. Beaton right there in second place, pressure all the way to the checkered flag.
All right, let's take a look at Thor results, MX1 Moto1. Kyle Webster with a fantastic win from Jed Beaton back in second place, and Dean Ferris rounding out the top 3.
Some 21 seconds back, so surely there's something that has to have happened over that last part of the race. Nathan Crawford, Todd Waters, Luke Cloud, Kirk Gibbs, Brett Metcalf, Zachary Watson and Levi Rogers are your top 10.
Dylan Wood, Joel Evans, Cooper Holroyd, a great ride for him back in 13th place. Liam Jackson, Seager Ward there in 15th.
Great way to start the MX1 Moto #1. Thor MX1 is a great way to start the day. Let's head down to Kate with our winner.
Kyle Webster taking Moto1 for MX1 win. Congratulations. You grabbed the whole shot. You got in front and then you held off that pressure like a pro, regardless of those lap riders.
Yeah, it was tough out there. It's very, very one-lined, and I just wasn't comfortable going much faster. I knew it was going to be hard to pass, so as long as I just hit the marks, I felt like it was going to be okay. But yeah, the lap riders they were hard work.
Yeah, and how is the track forming up out there? Is it getting really technical, tricky, the sun?
Yeah, it's really soft in some spots, but then really hard underneath, so it's very slippery. Yeah.
Well, good luck in the next moto.
Thank you very much.
The sun is starting to go down. It's the business end of the day. This is when your championship points are scored. Thor MX1 Moto2 about to happen. Let's take a look at the lineup. Jed Beaton, Kyle Webster, Nathan Crawford, Kirk Gibbs, Luke Clout.
Ferris, Metcalf, Waters, Jackson, Evans, top 10 in the qualifying.
Zachary Watson, John Darridge, Levi Rogers, Dylan Wood, Cooper Holroyd.
Ward, Zielinski, Ognenis, and Rosenditch Larson are your top 20.
Robbie Marshall, Cody O'Lone, Navran Grothhughes and Riley Stevens. I've got the easy ones.
Yes, you do indeed. As we get set, I'm terrible, I know. As we get set for this, the final moto of the day, the MX1, Thor MX1 class moto #2. Of course, Beaton down the inside. He's got himself a pretty good spot, but right next to him is Webster. Will we see the start come from there? Can someone slightly more outside get the whole shot? Ferris is a good starter as well, and he sounded pretty confident in his interview there as well. Can he get that start and potentially run the first opening laps up the front?
Could this be Ferris's first whole shot of the season, or is it going to come from Webster from gate 2? You think perhaps Jed Beaton's got a shot from grid 1 where we see a lot of whole shots?
Yeah, it's going to take a good jump out as we are set to get the final race of the day underway. The crowds here at Gillman have been treated to some amazing racing. They are getting set for the final moto of the day. The revs are up. We're about to launch them out. Who will get the whole shot? Webster with a good jump out. Oh, one down to the back.
Kyle Webster was just a copy and paste. It's one of the Yamaha boys have gone down. I don't know if it's one of the Team Yamaha guys. Todd Waters in second place. Nathan Crawford, third place. This is the start that Crawford was after.
Beaton in 6th on our scoring, 5th.
Can't see, Ferris is 15th.
WP whole shot award, of course, going to Kyle Webster, straight to the front. Pressed by the start. Oh, Crawford spinning out there. That was a weird spin out. Two Yamaha guys side by side just there. It looked like as they were coming through. That was Beaton to the outside. So this is the run and hide situation that Webster needs to take advantage of. There goes Beaton to the outside. Or was that Ferris possibly?
I think Ferris is back in 15th. He's 14th now. So he's trying to make his way up through the pack. Wow, where has Ferris come from?
That's what I thought. I saw matching coloured gear that was launching through there. So Ferris, he means business right now. Sits there in 6th place behind Kirk Gibbs. And we heard Kirk talk about just how difficult it is to switch up the lines. Big jump though by Crawford off that tabletop.
Yeah, now if we remember back to that first race, it was Crawford just trying to find his way through at the start of the race. Near the end, he just come on super fast. Now, we've got to see what his early race speed is like here, because he's going to come under pressure from Jed Beaton. How about the start from Webster? Oh!
Wow, that was an intel. That's
Joel Evans.
Joel Evans. And then in turn 1, what happened here? We've missed something. Turn 2 off to the side there.
And see the riders at the back just trying to avoid it, but nowhere to go.
That's the thing with starting a little wider on that start gate. You get forced out to a position that you have no control over what happens if these kind of things happen in front of you. Ipsy, you don't want to run down the side of the jumps like that. That is a scary, scary moment.
And just copped a little bit of a bump in the rear end there, and unsettled going into the corner. Just trying to ride his way into the race here, because if you end up getting passed by Dean Ferris here, within next door to no time, Clout's going to be all over the back of him. So you don't want to give up these positions early in the race. You just want to fight tooth and nail to keep those positions and just pray that you're going to be able to ride yourself into some kind of form. Welcome back to the Penrite Oils ProMX Championship, brought to you by AMX Superstores.
There it is, right there. You can see the Yamaha crew cheering on Jed Beaton. Remember, this is going to be for the overall. If Jed Beaton can make this pass, they will tie on points. However, Beaton will be awarded the overall on account back of the final moto better results.
Yeah, as far as Kyle Webster and the Honda team are concerned, they need to get this 1-1 to basically level up the championship. If we have a look at the series points, how things sit at the moment, it'll be Webster with a 1-point lead. But have a look at the slingshot engaged around the outside. That was just too easy for Jed Beaton.
Yeah, there was a mistake there by Webster before that double. He got very crossed up, and it really slowed his performance going through into that section, allowed Beaton to get right up beside him. Man, what a performance by Beaton. That is a big, big statement right there to go around. Here we go. So here's the mistake by Webster. Just a little bit of a cross rut, but it slowed him up enough that Beaton was able to slingshot around the outside.
Yeah, so I think at the moment, we've kind of got one shot here for Kyle Webster to be able to try to latch on and try to pick up just to see what he's doing. It might not necessarily be some new lines he needs to try to find. It might just be seeing how he's doing it, where he's getting on the gas, where he's braking, etc. And he might be able to find a different kind of flow.
Beaton working his way through some of the lapped riders. I was going to bring up the fact before we saw Nathan Crawford get over it that Haruki Yokoyama was making that double, not cleanly, but he was doing it better than the MX1 guys were getting over it. Oh, Waters, up and over. Nice one.
Yeah, and a completely different way for Nathan Crawford to do it. So yeah, good to see Todd Waters giving it a little bit of a go himself. He's still looking strong. He doesn't look like he's starting to get to that point where things are starting to hurt a little bit. The breathing's getting a little bit too heavy. He's still pushing, even though a little bit of a mistake there. Everything still looks like it's ticking along nicely.
Great run through that left-hander there, and still maintains that small gap over Crawford, 0.9. The last time they crossed the split, it looks like Crawford could be closing in just a little bit. Oh, little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, but
that was
there,
fast.
But it was nice. It was fast. A double to down the bump and then tuck up the inside. That was impressive.
Yeah, double dab there with the foot though in that corner. And that has allowed Crawford to get right there. He's going to go to the inside in that next turn. There's a potential pass here. It certainly has been made. Oh no! The lapped rider. I think he's trying to get out of the way. And unfortunately went right in the way of Waters.
Race leader coming through to log down another lap.
I just thought this was right. That is Crawford. That's Beaton just in front of him.
Okay, so
Beaton has gone down.
Beaton back to second place. So Yes, you're exactly right. Wonder what happened to him. And have a look at the difference in body language from him.
A 2:13 on that last lap, so certainly he's gone down somewhere. Okay, 0.8 of a second. 6 laps to go. That was going to be for Ferris when he came past his mechanic just there. Wow, change of events. Okay, here we go. So we've got to look off screen here somewhere, I think, or is this just simply the pass?
Yeah, this is going to show where Todd Waters accidentally got ran off the track here by our number 88 rider just trying to do the right thing.
So looking, it has to be in somewhere in this corner because there he is just there.
Yep. So I think it's possibly that left-hander before veering towards the finish line.
But Webster cannot afford to get caught up with any of these lap riders at all.
Coming into the back part of the track, few turns and they will cross that finish line area one more time. Just 3 minutes to go plus a lap.
That's 3 whole laps, but we're losing 1 to 1.5 seconds a lap.
He's almost on him.
Yeah.
I think when you're this close and you can smell blood in the water, I think it's just a case of Kyle Webster needs to just focus on what he's doing. Don't focus on what's behind. Focus on what you know. Pick your lines right, hit your marks, make sure you don't make any major mistakes because it's out of your hands what is coming like a steam train from behind.
What a performance from Jed Beaton at the moment. He has to be careful though because he is pushing that fine line at the moment of being on the edge to making mistakes. He needs to keep nice and calm and collected whilst doing this, whilst closing in. He doesn't look like he's made too many mistakes, Oli. He does look well within his comfort zone, but he certainly is. On a track the way it is right now, he is on that fine line.
Yeah, once again, there's certain parts of the track where Kyle Webster's looking nice and smooth, but there's a couple of parts to the track that Jed Beaton has got it dialed. As to whether these parts are going to allow a passing opportunity, we're going to have to wait to see that.
Is he jumping this? Is that where some time is? Nope, not that lap around.
Both riders got the same lines here, heading to the outside. Webster goes to the inside, and likewise for Jed Beaton here. So basically, these two gun riders are mirroring their exact same lines right there, double-double. A little bit of time made up, and also in that turn, a tiny little bit of time made up there from Beaton.
Through the long left here, into some more lap riders. This is the bad place to fall in behind a lap rider. Oh, well done there for that rider to jump out the road. Very aware of his surroundings and who's right there. Beat within striking distance. They will have 2 laps to go the next time they cross the line.
Webster looks super fast through those big roller whoops just before jumping down the elevation to the lower parts of the track. As we follow them through here on these switchbacks, who is going to come up trumps here? If something's going to happen, it has to happen soon. Our number 84, is that Emma Milicevic, Danny?
I'm not sure, but I know that...
no, it's Caleb Ward.
Caleb Ward, so just to the outside goes Ward. 2 laps to go.
Okay, that's the part of the track where he's making up his time right there.
Wow, the pressure now. Can Webster hold out? He needs to be well aware now of the lines that Jed Beaton on the Yamaha is running. Not allow an opening anywhere through here as they go in front of the mechanics. He knows he's right there. Very quick there for Webster as we get into some thick lap traffic here into the turn 1. This is going to slow up Webster. He's managed to skip past one of them.
Wow, that was some very nice lapping through there for Kyle Webster. He was not going to allow these lap riders to slow him down. Jed Beaton tips it in now. That gap is a little bit bigger than what it was this time, the last lap. Now, I don't see, Danny, you tell me your opinion. Nice. Beautiful jump there. If anything, he would have stretched that gap out even further again.
Yes.
This is going to be a long shot here. Jed Beaton needs a miracle for this to happen. You tell me your thoughts. My thoughts are, if the pass is going to be made, it is going into the turn after the finish line. That's my only spot that I can see where a pass can be made, unless a mistake happens and Kyle goes off the track. Fortunately for him, he didn't lose too much time there.
Yeah, I agree. That last part of the track, certainly the stronger part for Beaton, and he needs to be closer. Does he think that he can get there at the moment with the way he's dropped back I don't know. I don't think he's close enough to think that he can potentially, especially with the gap right there right now.
Well, let's follow him through. He's got a few corners to get towards the part of the track that is well and truly Jed Beaton's part of the track. He needs to muster up whatever energy he's got because Kyle Webster is not going to fade. Tipping it into the right-hander here, and my prediction is that gap is still, it's exactly the same, if not a little bit more.
I think we've stepped it up. We're about to cross the line. 2:05 was the last lap for Webster. I feel this lap time is going to be much faster as we go across 2:04.3.
And that's, you can see, he just made a little bit of that time up, but that is not enough. What a response from Kyle Webster.
That could have come as they went past the mechanics area. If he saw only 2 laps to go, all of a sudden, somehow, miraculously, you can find some energy that'll get you to close that race out, knowing that there's only 2 laps to go and you can hold this one on for the win.
And I think that double, that very, very tricky double with the rutted takeoff ramp in the middle of the track, if Kyle Webster can remain mistake-free and he can somehow get that double, it's done.
Yep. Yeah, I think Webster truly believes he's got this one now. It's going to take a massive mistake, a massive hold-up for Beaton to even have the chance to throw down a pass.
Okay, let's look at that, and took a nice safe line there, did Kyle Webster, but Jed Beaton didn't drop the hammer and try to jump that double. So the gap is going to remain the same here. There's no signs of Kyle Webster losing any time here whatsoever. An amazing response from the factory Honda rider riding for Boost Mobile Honda. He is staring down the barrel of a victory here. And it will be, if he stays in this position, a 1-point lead in the championship.
Through the shot left for the final time here today. MX1 Moto number 2, last race of the day, the hardest race of the day for the entire field. And it is Webster that is looking to come away with that double victory here today. AMX left-hander down into the Yamaha right for the final time. Only 2 corners to go and still maintains a good 2 seconds lead over Jed Beaton. This one is all Kyle Webster.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is all she wrote. Staring down the barrel of a dominant 1-1 victory, but it wasn't without a fight. Kyle Webster takes his 2nd win from as many starts and dominates the day here at Gillman, round 3. Let's take a look at the Thor MX1 results, Moto2. Kyle Webster with the win. The 2-second gap back to Jed Beaton. Todd Waters with a top 3.
Kirk Gibbs gets himself there 4th. Dean Ferris wasn't able to hold on, but still a much improved performance by him. 5th. Clout, Crawford, Metcalf, Dylan Wood finishes 9th. First privateer, congratulations.
Cody Alone there in 11th place, just outside of the top 10. Cooper Holroyd, Seeger Ward, Sam Larson, Zachary Watson.
A massive field of the MX1 guys here at Gillman. All of them will be reaching for some Denko rub, I'd say, for the night.
Let's head down to Kate Peck.
Todd Waters, P3 on the podium. I know you've had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for the last little while. This round podium must feel good.
Oh, Kate, I needed this. It's been tough. I've been down in a hole, and man, I've been juggling businesses and race team stuff, and the riding's been taken second. So I really focused. Really focused to try and get back, and this got handed to us, but we were riding better start then, and yeah, we'll keep working and try and land back up here in the rest of the championship.
Oh, I think we gotta have a shot of the family giving a good yell. Oh, that's so beautiful. Well done, Todd.
Thanks very much. I got to thank the team, Raceline, Husqvarna, T-Dub Racing team. They've been doing it. Just everyone who's involved, you guys know, and man, can't do it without them. Thanks heaps.
Okay, in P2, Jed Beaton, talk us through that tip over. Obviously, you look really disappointed with losing that lead.
Yeah, obviously it's a tough one to swallow. I should have won that moto, but yeah, little tip over. Sort of got Kyle back past me, and then I sort of didn't want it to happen again, so I was fighting hard to try and get that position back. But Kyle was riding well today. This is one of his strongest tracks, so yeah, it was good that I could show that I could keep with him today, and yeah, what could have been, but still happy with good points. I got to give it up to the team. I wasn't really comfortable this morning. They made a change, and yeah, felt really comfortable after that. So yeah, it goes on. So yeah, I've been consistent throughout the series so far, and I think we're just got to keep that going and yeah, see where we end up.
On to the next.
Yeah, thank you.
See you at Maitland. And in P1 for the round, taking that red plate. So exciting for you, Kyle. Incredible performance from you. Seized on that opportunity. You dealt with so much pressure this weekend. Well done.
Yeah, no, it was a tough weekend, to say the least. There was not much rest out there, and I had yeah, Jed right behind me, and that second motor, he was on a mission at the start, and when he got around me, he was tough to hang on to. So yeah, a little bit lucky for me there, but I'll take it. And yeah, really solid day. Just a huge thanks to my team, everyone who supports me, my family, my partner, just yeah, everyone in my corner. It's been a really good start to the year, so looking forward to keeping this rolling.
We'll see you at Maitland.
Thank you.
Well, what an amazing ride there, going 1-1 today. Kyle Webster on the Boost Mobile Honda. Let's take a look at the Thor MX1 Championship points. Kyle Webster from Jed Beaton and Nathan Crawford, and only 1 point separating Webster from Beaton.
Can't ask for much more than that. From a fan's point of view, having a championship so close at the moment, these two really, really standing out from everyone else.
Unfortunately, no Wilson Todd here this weekend. We look forward to hopefully seeing him back at some stage in the near future. Well, make sure you join us May the 6th as we head to the hardpack and ruddy Maitland circuit, just under an hour's drive from Newcastle, for round 4 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championship, brought to you by AMX Superstores. And while you're at it, make sure you lock in round 4 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship, presented by Moto1, as it heads next to Morgan Park Raceway in Queensland from July the 12th to the 14th. Well, Gillman never disappoints, and what a spectacle we've seen here in Adelaide for round 3 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. Thanks so much for joining us. On behalf of Danny Ham, Kate Peck, and myself, Lee Hogan, thanks for your company. We'll see you next at Maitland, New South Wales for round 4 of the championship, May the 26th. Goodbye for now.